Amari's played a good amount of football for us. We're going to put him in position where he can really have an impact on this football team. Steven had an unbelievable amount of reps. Having Emmett Rice come back, will be important to us. DJ Lundy had some really valuable reps last year. At the end of the couple games last year, he was in on critical times. Kalen DeLoach was somebody that played. He started at the beginning of the season, then didn't play as well, and then came back during the middle of the season, had some things in special teams, but really came on in the middle of spring, and we're expecting big things from him. Jaleel McCray was somebody that played in spotted action, but as part of that group. Kalen Brooks was off and on an injury. And then Jordan Eubanks is somebody brand new to the program that we've got some high hopes for, and has shown some good progress here in the last 3 months. He's been here in the summer, but that's definitely a group that we're looking to see some marked improvement, but I think we've got good pieces in there that we can kind of progress with that group right now.
And then also in the secondary, you've got a lot of options there. How are you going to sort all that out? That's got to be a good problem, I would imagine.
Listen, it's about, we got to develop roles right now. It's got to happen. We need to develop consistency because guys got to work together. Obviously we brought in some people, but you get a Jarvis Brownlee that you invested in last year playing a lot of football, right? So we get him back. Jerry Jones, we get back, has played a lot of football. Akeem Dent is another piece that, we're trying to get in the right position to play. We brought in Jamie Robinson, who I think has, a really good skill set that we're going to be able to use in a couple different ways. Other guys from last year, you name it, he started at safety last year. I can give you the names and you can go through it, but from Brendan Gant, all the way down to Renardo Green to Travis J, Sidney Williams, there's a lot of names that played a lot of football last year. Now our job is to, listen, you can't help injuries, but what we can help is keeping guys in position so they can develop and learn through repetition of how it needs to look. And then once you learn that, now you're playing besides the same guys, so you can play together a little bit more. And I think develop the roles here early in camp, which we started doing in the spring, is critical to us gaining steam in the back end.
So we asked this question to Coach Norvell about in the summer, if you need to deliver a message to your players, either position group or the defense as a whole in your case, who are some of the guys that you would turn to in that circumstance? If you needed a message to get home, who would you call into your office or who would you reach out to?
Yeah, I think up front, I kind of go at all different levels, but, I think Amari Gaynor and Steven Dix are somebody that have played for us the last year and a half. We have some good trust in them, Jerry and Jones in the back end, just trying to work through some consistency. And, I would say that back end, it's more of a group effort than an individualized effort, though. Up front, I think right now, even with the two new guys of Kier and Jermaine and Fabian, I think those guys are important for us to try and develop that message from the front end.
Can you go into getting Marcus Cushney fairly late in the process? I heard really good things about him so far. I guess how important was it to get an extra experienced player?
Yeah, well, Marcus was somebody, listen, as a program, we're always recruiting as a group effort. We're trying to identify the needs, right? We went out and brought in Kier and Jermaine because we thought that was the fit. That's what we needed to do. We were looking to sign another edge player, and Marcus was somebody that I had known about from his high school coach back at Palm Beach, who coaches up in Georgia now, so we knew the player, we knew the person. It was just about having the right scholarship numbers left, and it got down to late. With the transfer portal, how it goes, you're always trying to keep the next option ready, and he was the best available player that we had on defense. And Coach Norvell and the offense, we had to go through that process to find out what was going to be the best fit. Came down to the end of it, and we were lucky to be able to have a scholarship available with enough time to be able to get Marcus back home. So I think he's got a legitimate pass rush skill set, but he's strong enough. He's got long enough arms to be able to have an impact on first and second down too. So listen, we brought in three defensive ends, 3 edge players, and we thought we needed it to develop with the group that we signed and the group that's here. And I'm excited to see what it is. He's been here for about 2 weeks now, so day one's tomorrow for him, so I'm excited about him.
Can you speak to the depth that you guys, just body count on the defensive edge position, experienced guys, freshmen? I guess how important was that for you to stockpile that
you guys
talent?
could just do the math, right? From who we signed to portal to high school players. I truly believe in football now, like at defensive end, you can change games and you can have major impacts if we get those positions playing the right way. And so we invested in that position. It was important for us, and the numbers were a little bit different when we got here. We're trying to get the roster exactly the way we want it. So now with the portal, you're able to go get some guys with low eligibility. We can sign the Byron Turner, the Patrick Payton, the George Wilsons, the Chambrays, right? The Josh Farmers, that group to try to add long-term depth. But then we went out and signed 3 defensive ends, and we signed Fabian the year before to try and create it the way we need it to be in order for us to play how we need to play up front.
Earlier, you were talking about the defensive backfield, the numbers there. How many guys do you think are capable of playing multiple positions, and how guys, with what you're doing with a little bit more 5 personnel, how big is versatility?
Yeah, I mean, versatility is important, but I think what we need to do is lock in on roles, right? Now, maybe the role is versatility. With somebody like Jamie Robinson, he will be playing safety. He will be playing nickel, right? Somebody like Jarvis, who played nickel and corner last year, that'll stay the same. But for the most part, we're trying to keep guys in their roles, in their positions, so they can get better at it and then gain repetitions at it. There are some safeties, whether it's going to be Travis, whether it's going to be Sidney, whether it's going to be Brendan Gant, whether it's going to be Renardo, right, of finding some other ways to use the safeties if we have to get extra DBs on the field. So that is that. But I would say, truthfully, going into camp, Jamie and Jarvis are really the guys that will probably roll a little bit at other spots. And then Kevin Knowles will play some nickel, play some corner as well.
A lot of transfers, obviously, to integrate into the culture of what you're doing. What have the reports been like? I mean, obviously, some of the guys came here for spring already, but blending and making a culture is not an easy thing. So, what's that been like, and what are the reports you got over the summer about how the guys gel together?
At the front end, when these things come up, you're trying to do as much research as you can. So when you get them here, they're like-minded people, right? As far as how we're going to operate this program under Coach Norvell. But everybody that we brought in from the outside, from the portal, we feel really good about. And for the most part, everybody except Marcus Cushnie on defense was here. So, I think it's been really good. We've got great feedback of relationships from the guys that were here. We're there involved with them all the time, from Coach Storms all the way down. So we're excited about the people we've had.